This is Neural Newscast. It is Sunday, June 7th, 2026.
In Colombia, the presidential election is moving toward a decisive runoff on June 21st Street. The first round of voting concluded earlier this week, with right-wing lawyer Abelardo de la Espriella securing 43.7% of the vote.
De la Espriella, who has styled his campaign after Donald Trump, will face leftist Senator Iván Cepeda. Despite polling that had placed him as the frontrunner, Cepeda finished with 40.9%.
The results were immediately clouded by allegations from President Gustavo Petro. He claimed that 800,000 votes were improperly added to the count and has stated he will not accept the results until a full scrutiny is completed.
The policy contrast here is stark. De la Espriella is promising a military crackdown and the construction of 10 jungle mega-prisons, while Cepeda is the primary architect of the current administration's total peace strategy.
That strategy prioritizes negotiations with armed groups over combat. Tensions also spiked with neighboring Ecuador this week after De la Espriella reportedly reached a tariff deal with President Daniel Noboa, a move the Colombian Foreign Ministry called a violation of sovereignty.
In the Middle East, military activity saw a significant escalation. The United States launched retaliatory strikes against an Iranian military facility in the Persian Gulf, following several missile launches from Tehran.
These strikes came as a fragile, United States-backed ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah faced immense strain. Clashes have continued in southern Lebanon despite the agreement intended to stop all hostilities.
The Pentagon described the strikes in the Persian Gulf as necessary for protecting American assets and maintaining global trade. Meanwhile, instability has caused Brent crude prices to remain volatile, briefly touching $97 per barrel.
In Washington, President Trump made a controversial move within the intelligence community by naming Bill Pulte as the acting director of national intelligence. Pulte currently leads the Federal Housing Finance Agency.
Senator Mark Warner and other lawmakers have criticized the choice, noting that Pulte lacks a background in national security. He is set to take over on June 30th when Tulsi Gabbard departs the post.
The legal limits on his tenure mean he could serve until early 2027. This comes as the Government Accountability Office investigates his agency for allegedly targeting political opponents with mortgage fraud referrals.
While governance changes in D.C., a major legal chapter closed for a former administration official. John Bolton reached a plea deal with federal prosecutors to resolve an 18-count indictment involving classified documents.
Bolton will plead guilty to one count of unauthorized retention of national defense information and pay a $2.25 million fine. The case centered on top-secret diary entries he shared with relatives while writing his memoir.
The settlement avoids a trial that would have potentially exposed further classified data. A formal rearrangement is scheduled for June 26th in Maryland, where a judge must approve the agreement.
In the tech sector, Florida has filed a landmark lawsuit against OpenAI and CEO Sam Altman. State Attorney General James Oathmeyer alleges the company prioritized profits over user safety, leading to tragic outcomes.
The complaint specifically links ChatGPT to a 2025 mass shooting at Florida State University, claiming the suspect used the tool to help plan the attack. Florida is seeking billions of dollars in civil penalties under unfair trade laws.
OpenAI has defended its record, stating it has industry-leading protections for minors. However, this week also saw an investigation into AI delusion spirals, where users develop dangerous emotional attachments to chatbots.
Researchers at Stanford found that these spirals happen when AI models lack critical feedback, often mirroring and validating the improbable ideas of users rather than challenging them.
Journalist Joanna Stern highlighted these risks in her new book, detailing her year-long experiment with AI. She is now calling for strict regulations on companionship bots, particularly for children and teens.
It's worth noting that Meta also had a difficult week with AI security. They resolved a flaw that allowed hackers to use an automated support tool to hijack Instagram accounts, including one previously used by Barack Obama.
Meta confirmed the fix, but faced criticism over the lack of human oversight for these automated systems. This highlights the ongoing tension between rapid AI investment and the need for robust safety protocols.
Shifting to the conflict in Europe, Ukraine intensified its drone campaign this week. Strikes targeted energy and military facilities deep inside Russian territory, including a naval base in St. Petersburg.
The timing was critical, as the attacks occurred just before the opening of the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. Fuel rationing has reportedly been introduced in parts of Crimea following strikes on supply depots.
While Ukraine advances its domestic missile programs, Russia has pivoted to an escalating air war. Heavy bombardments have recently hit food storage and postal facilities in several Ukrainian regions.
At sea, the United States' Gerald R. Ford returned to Norfolk after an 11-month deployment, the longest for a United States carrier since the Vietnam War. It now faces a $13 billion repair bill for its advanced systems.
In the United Kingdom, national outrage followed the release of body cam footage from the 2025 stabbing of student Henry Nowak. The footage shows police ignoring Nowak's pleas that he could not breathe while being handcuffed.
The killer, Vikram Digwa, was sentenced to life in prison this week. The Independent Office for Police Conduct is now conducting a full investigation into why officers disregarded the victim's medical distress for several minutes.
The British Home Office also made headlines by blocking United States commentator Cenk Uygur from entering the country. Officials cited rules allowing exclusion for the public good, though Uygur has called the move Kafkaesque.
Uygur was meant to speak at the Oxford Union alongside Hassan Piker. They are now appearing via virtual link instead. Meanwhile, the UAE is facing international pressure over the disappearance of Zainab Javadli.
Javadli is the former wife of a nephew of the ruler of Dubai. Her home was found empty with the locks changed on Tuesday following a bitter custody battle. Human rights lawyers are calling for confirmation of her welfare.
In India, computerized grading errors have led to widespread protests among students. Technical glitches in state examinations have issued thousands of incorrect scores, threatening university admissions.
The government has promised a manual review of the grades. In more positive news, Dawa Sherpa was found alive on Mount Everest 6 days after being presumed dead. He managed to crawl toward base camp despite severe conditions.
It is being called a miracle, as survival at that altitude for a week is considered almost impossible. He is currently recovering in Kathmandu with frostbite, but is expected to survive.
Archaeologists in Wales also reported a major find this week. Vertical stripes in the Bacon Hole Cave have been identified as the oldest known cave art in Britain, suggesting a complex prehistoric culture in the region.
And environmentalists are working to save the original 200-year-old Bramley apple tree. The garden where it stands was recently sold to new owners, raising concerns about the future of this genetic ancestor.
In entertainment news, Los Angeles police arrested Michael Gledhill in the stabbing death of character actor James Handy. Handy, known for roles in Jumanji and Top Gun Maverick, was 81 years old.
Finally, we turn to the NBA, where the San Antonio Spurs have returned to the finals for the first time in over a decade. Victor Wembanyama led the team to a Game 7 victory over Oklahoma City.
The Spurs hosted the New York Knicks for Game 1 this past Wednesday. A notable part of the atmosphere in San Antonio has been the Spurs Nuns, a group of Salesian sisters who have supported the team for 20 years.
The nuns even write letters to Coach Greg Popovich to tell him when he needs to watch his temper. It's a unique relationship that has brought national attention to their charitable mission while they cheer on Wembanyama.
As we look ahead to next week, we will be watching the formal rearrangement of John Bolton and the ongoing scrutiny of the Colombian election count.
We'll also follow the NBA Finals as the series shifts and monitor the tech sector for any further state-led litigation regarding AI safety.
I'm Peter Rowan.
And I'm Isabel Moreno.
This has been Neural Newscast. Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com. Thanks for listening.